the 45's. 45's won the toss. They will be the home team. And leading off is going to be Drew Chaveria for Moneyline. Going to give you a little different view of the game. Now that the sun's gone, we can come back and get over here to our normal first base perch. And Drew leading off. So we got a little information on that Moneyline game. Apparently there were 2 outs in the 7th. They were winning and somebody dropped a routine ball and that opened the floodgates. So a little ground ball by Chaveria. Nate Mercado uncharacteristically waited on that ball, got a tough little skip bounce, and just couldn't secure a catch. So as a hitter, when Nate doesn't make a play like that, you feel very fortunate. And that's going to bring up Brian Davis. So, of course, Drew, one of those good-looking young players, also a legacy kid. And he played on Mudville. A lot of former Mudville on this team. Brian Davis, of course, started out on Vision, worked his way up to Signature, and there's another tough ground ball to Nate Mercado. First 2 hitters on, bad hop singles. And Moneyline coming out of the gate right now with an opportunity to maybe jump ahead. And there's Chris Stout having a really good year for the young player. Jason Ganick on deck. And he pops it up. That'll be an infield fly rule. And that'll be 1 out. So Chris trying to go big, just kind of dropped that back shoulder, hit it right up the elevator shaft for out number 1. And here's the shortstop, Jason Ganick, with Marty dozing on deck, Matty's son. And Marty is also one of the really good young players in the ball, in this ball game and in softball. And Ganick sweeps it out to right. Matt Johnson makes the play. Drew Chaveria does tag and go to third. So runners on the corner with 2 out here for Marty Dozen. With Andrew Beam on deck. And there's a swing and a rocket, base hit. Moneyline takes an early lead. Davis got a great read and was moving on the swing as well with 2 outs. And he gets into third. So 1-0. First lead of the ball game goes to Moneyline. He brings up Andrew Beam. Patty Caputo, who is with Signature Windy City for a long time, has come over to help Matty Dozen a little bit when he can. Patty's been through a few things, and it's good to see him out. Line drive, and Beam hustling but can't get there. So at the end of a half an inning, Moneyline takes an early lead, 1-0. And it looks like Signature is up 1-0 in the top of the first. Still batting against Flashback. So for those of you new to the stream, we'll give you some rules. 60-foot bases, you can lead off, but you can't steal. 38 feet from the pitching rubber to the point of home plate. 6-12 on the arc. We're playing open count tonight. We're also playing no glove, as you can see, which is 99% of what we do here in Chicago. So the pitcher gets a drag step, 1 step left, right, or back. He also gets 2 fakes or hesitation. Third arm action has to be to deliver the ball to the plate. A throw or a fake to a base is considered one of those 2 fakes or hesitations. And we use heavy bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, no longer than 34 inches, 2 1/4 on the barrel. No fences, so it'll be all you can get. And a very calm day, not a lot of wind. So here's Anthony Sanchez leading off for the 45's. And that flashback 45 game was a little back and forth there. 45 scored late in bottom of the 6th to come back down 1 to win. Wow, it might take a couple of pages to put a list of Mudville guys. I mean, Moneyline's got Marty, Matty Dolson, Phil Chaveria, Drew Chaveria, the pitcher Eric Mandarino. Trying to look around and see if there's another one on this team. And there's a line drive caught by Nick Drabel, the short center. Got a terrific read on it. Made the catch. Brings up P.J. Raines. And P.J. swings and he strokes it up the middle for a base hit. A lot of times PJ's dad, Pete Raines, who played, PJ, another legacy kid, usually at the games, don't see him tonight, brings up Nate Mercado, and Nate sweeps it into right field for a base hit, and now it gets past Drew Chaveria. PJ Raines is going to get into third, and Nate will take second. So Drew came in, and the ball just squirted between his hands and through his legs. The 45's got a little something going on here. Brings up Vince Acey. The 45's, like I said, they have a knack for winning close games. And there's a line drive, but right at Brian Davis. And Brian played many years with Vince, so he's very familiar with him. Brings up Jeff Mastari.
Hey, come on, Jeff, stay hot, kid.
Well, it's 6-12 on the arc. And there's a ground ball. Big Sunday hop for Drabel. He throws it into the ground. His brother Ryan can't dig it out, and we're all tied at 1.
We got Chris, Bo Adams, Joe Paulie.
So Nick was in good shape. He caught it clean. He just threw it right into the ground. And now the 45's got runners on the corner, so we'll see if they make him pay more than just the 1 run. And here's Chris Lentine. So it's 1-1 in the first. Got a little symmetry working on the scoreboard. And I don't know what you mean by normal bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, no longer than 34, 2 1/4 on the barrel. And there's a sky-high fly ball. And Drew Chaveria makes the catch for the 3rd out. But 45's pick up an unearned run. They tie the game at 1. So we head to the top of the 2nd. So I don't know what you mean by normal bats. Again, we're using a 16-inch clincher, so you would not want to use a 12-inch bat in a game like this, especially with the double wall construction and the way those are built. You'd be paying $500-600 for a bat that would get destroyed. So here comes Brian Nowakowski. Then it'll be Ryan Drebel and Ricky Davis. And he tries to go down the right field line. That's going to fade. Well, we haven't seen any of those, Nathan, and to be honest with you, I think we would want to probably discourage that. But we really haven't seen anybody try to use a wood bat. Of course, back in the day, those wood bats were strange, and there's a little ground ball. P.J. Raines, nice pitch and catch. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Those old Chicago bats, the 6s and the 10s and all of that, you could go to a sporting goods store and see a Chicago 10 and pick up 5 of them, and they were all dramatically different. There was no rhyme or reason to those things. So here's Nick Drabel. And he hits a ball way foul. So it looks like Signature is up 3-0 on Flashback right now. This game kind of reminds me of that Flashback 45 game we just did. It's kind of low energy early in the ball game, even though there were a few runs scored, but picked up toward the end. So here's Drabel. He slaps it on the ground. This time Nate gets a good clean hop, and he makes the play. 2 up, 2 down here. .45's came back, CC. They were down a run in the bottom of the 6th. And they pushed 3 across and won 10-8. Flash had a mini threat in the top of the 7th, but couldn't push anything across. And that was an impressive, as I sidestepped any danger. I thought me and Eric Davis were better friends than that. He's shooting missiles past me. So with 2 outs, nobody on, that's when the 45's rallied, and
Way to go,
Bo Filkins has been in the shooting gallery. A couple of the 45's there say stay hot, because it seems like every ball hit to him has been deflecting this way and that. But Bo's done a good job. You know, he held Flashback to 8. And so far, he's holding Moneyline down to 1 after 2. And looks like it's going to be Bo Filkins, Adam Haas, and Joe Pauly for the 45's here in the bottom of the 2nd. 4-0 Signatures. They head to the bottom of the 2nd, leading Flashback on the other diamond. Well, thank you for the kind words, Russ. So here's Bo Filkins. Of course, Bo got great lineage. Keith Filkins' nephew. And of course, Keith and his brother were tremendous, tremendous players. Keith Filkins is, to this day, the greatest player I ever saw personally play. Just wasn't anything his uncle couldn't do on the field. I think Keith is the only guy to be an All-American at every infield position and pitcher. How's that for a resume?
No, good eye, good eye.
And Bo's got some good physical ability, but his career's kind of been starts and stops. He was a young kid, and he was on this 45 team, I think, for a year and a half. His work took him out of state. He was up in, I want to say, Wisconsin. And I think he just kind of transferred back and kind of has been coming out this year. So, and there's a line drive base hit. So he's a lot like Drew Chaveria on this Moneyline team. Had Drew when he was a young kid, freshman in college, and he was very raw. And I think his sophomore or junior year, he broke his ankle. And so took Drew a little while to settle in as a player. High fly ball. Marty Dozen is there, and he throws it in. Marty got a big gun out there. So 1 out, brings up Joe Pauly. So a lot of times guys like Bo and Drew and some of these kids, they just need to play. They need to get those repetitions in those swings. And then once they do that, the natural talent starts to take over. Mike Trump is my guy. He's the architect of Team SSA. They won the Nicky Lopez 16-inch softball classic. And they beat the 2 favorites on their way to the title. So how's that? And there's a base hit as he just guides it into right field. Chris had to make sure the ball was hit in front. He had to make sure he didn't get hit by it. Brings up Mike Johnston. So for anybody that may run into the 45s, we're giving you a little sneak peek at Matt Johnston. And looks like he's a hardball / 12-inch guy. Doesn't move in the box. It's weird. His setup almost looks like a little bit like Sammy Bertucci. Not quite as hunched over, but when he looks at the pitcher, if you were far enough away, you might think it was Sammy. But Sammy does move in the box. Actually, Amalia, the women do say that. 20 years ago. So there's a inside pitch. Again, this is Kyle Engel on the hill. Normally we see Eric Mandarino, and Marty Dozen cruises over, fires it into Stout, and despite the length of that hit and a sliding catch by Marty Dozen, he hit Stout with a rocket throw, and Chris Lentine could not do the double tag. Brings up Chuck Regaldo. Saw Chuck get a hit or two yesterday, had 2 hits in the Flash game. And he hits right at the bottom of the 45 lineup. And I'm sure the 45s would like to see this kid get on a little bit of a roll offensively. Defensively, he's been fantastic. Out in center field, covering a lot of ground, big arm. And Chuck beats that into the ground, and tough throw, and that's going to score a run.
Run through. Come on.
So Jason Ganick caught the ball clean, did everything right, just short-armed the throw. Now they got the top of the lineup with 2 outs. We were talking in the previous game that when they get to their top, they're more than capable of throwing 5, 6, 7 hits out in a row. And they kind of did that to Flash with 2 outs in that bottom of the 6th. So the bottom doing their job, manufacturing a run and getting on base for the top. And the 45 is a very resilient team. And he walks Anthony Sanchez, and now the bases are loaded for P.J. Raines, singled up the middle his last time up. And they've always been a team that took advantages of your mistakes. And really, there's been an error involved in both of these runs. Nick Drabo short-armed the throw, and now Jason Gannick. So
Nobody there.
And he's got nowhere to put
Nobody here. Nobody there, Chuck.
PJ. PJ swings and he drives it, but Marty Dozen back a couple of steps, puts it away. 4-1 now. Top of the third, signature leading flashback. So 2-1 game here as we head to the top of the third. And the 45s, like I said, they do play beautiful softball because, especially when they have everybody out, they just suffocate you. They don't give you anything. They make you earn everything. And then offensively, they will take advantage. They're smart with the bats. They have a few guys that are really good offensive players, and they just know how to grind and win close games. Some of that's experience, and some of that, despite I know sometimes players think Israel might be tough on them, but you know, it's that detail stuff that wins you championships. So here's Nick Drabo. Nick, one of our sponsors, is a Sweet Buzz Company, is one of our anchor partners for the Chicago Summer Series. And Nick swings and he strokes a line drive leading off the top of the third. And there's Pat Caputo hooking up with an old friend of his, Frank Mastari. Of course, he said, Frank Mastari said, I'm a lot younger. Patty in his early 70s. High pop-up, can of corn for Sanchez. Puts it away and throws it in. So Kyle Engel flies out for out number one. And that's going to bring us to the top of the lineup and Drew Chavarria.
Your way last time, Nate.
And I think that's the key for Moneyline heading into next week. And Drew Chavarria, wicked shot. Paulie makes the catch, and he gets back. That was close to saying maybe it was a look-back rule or he ran in the way, but he came right down the baseline there. Paulie tried to thread the needle, just couldn't get it there. Nice catch by Paulie. That looked like it was going to be a base hit into left center field. 2 outs now for Eric Davis. And Eric scalds it to Mercado. He makes the play, and Adam Haas picks it. We'll head to the bottom of the third, 2-1.
Nice play, Nathan.
And that's where I was talking about that half inning, very illustrative, as Joe Paulie made a quick move to catch a hard line drive, and then Nate Mercado on a hot one hopper from Davis was able to secure it and make the play to first. So bottom of the third down there is still 4-1. So it's going to be 3-4-5. Nate Mercado, Vince Sacy, Jeff Mastari here. Takes that pitch inside. And there's strike two. And Nate pounds it. Drabo got a hand on it. No chance to get Nate. So by the time the throw came down, after his brother Nick fair catched, Nate was already just standing on the base. So leadoff man on, good speed on for Vincaci. I think that's going to be the key for Moneyline heading into next week. They got a nice club. They got a few big boppers, but will they catch the ball enough? And I know tonight one of their guys who isn't here, I know Matt Martin's over there. I don't know if he's injured. And I don't see Kevin Knorr anywhere. Line drive right to Drabo. Now he tries to thread the needle. And that didn't work either. So we're seeing a couple of short centers robbing some people on line drives in this game. Now Nate's been around a lot. We saw in that first flashback game a couple of guys way off the bag on line drives. And Mastari smokes it off of Davis. It's into no man's land. Nate's being aggressive. He's going to come all the way around the score. Nate, a smart, aggressive base runner. He was running. He saw the deflection as he approached second. Saw it was going to be in no man's land. Turned it on and scored. 3-1, 45. Here's Chris Lentine. And that's a good read by Nate, but it's also an easy read because you're looking right at the play. He's at first and the ball's hit at third. So the whole play is in front of him. And he knew the minute he turned second that he was going to go home. And Chris Lentine delivers a base hit. Mastari will score. And the 45s have pushed out now to a 4-1 lead.
Give Chris the ball.
Huh?
Call timeout, give Chris the ball.
I didn't say it, Chris.
You want me to run for you? Are you I'll outrun your ass.
Chris must be struggling because Frank Mastari said call timeout, give him the ball, and Chris said I'd rather have a runner. So that brings up Bo Filkins, and line drive, almost a double play. Kyle Engel snags a line drive. That is the third line drive that Bo Filkins has hit at a pitcher tonight. So he's certainly working the middle of the field.
Hey, we got 2 down now, 2 down.
Chris Lentine will be running on the swing. Adam Haas goes the other way, and a fair ball. He walks the dog down the left field line. Lentine scores, stand-up double for Haas. And you know, for a lot of years, everybody thought Adam Haas was a great defensive first baseman, and he is. But this year, he's brought the bats out. I think he might be in one of the statistical categories for the Chicago Summer Series.
Nobody there, kid. Nobody there.
So he's come along, Adam, just an absolute gentleman. Son-in-law to Israel Sanchez.
You're right.
And Joe Pauly way out of play. That's almost at the playground. So they're 4-1, top of the fourth. Signature still leading flashback. 45's won 2 games last night. They have not lost a lot of league games. I think they only got maybe one loss in league play all year. And they have won a tournament. There's a ground ball. Everybody at the infield touching that ball as it deflected off of Engel. Nick Drabo deflected it. And Chris Stout finally picked it up. It does save a run. Runners on the corner now for Matt Johnson. And again, like we talked about, he looks like he's a hard ball 12-inch guy, and he rakes one off of Davis. The 6 run's going to score, and Matt Johnson hustling all the way.
Way to hustle! Way to hustle!
He may need another pair of spikes. He was like the Roadrunner there. He was running, but his feet were slipping and sliding.
I'm not sure. PJ.
Some of us that don't run that fast don't have that problem. I like to consider myself as having a low center of gravity. So here's Chuck Regaldo, and he chops it deep in the hole. Long throw in time. Jason Ganick didn't fool around with that throw. Came right over the top, let the ball work for himself, and gets the out. But in the inning, 5 runs. 45's take a 6-1 lead. Looks like Signature has pushed a run or two across there. Got a crossbar in the way. Don't know if it's a 5 or a 6. So it's going to be Chris Stout, Jason Ganick, and Marty Dozen here. 3, 4, 5. So we head to the top of the 4th. If you're a Moneyline fan, you're down 5. The good news is you got some good hitters coming up here. That ball's on the base. 2-0. And he gets a strike call there. It came a little flat and a little deep, which you can do if it's flat. Now it's 3-1. And your team just scored 5. You really don't want to put the leadoff man on. And Chris swings. He goes opposite field. Anthony Sanchez is there. And he makes the catch. A little surprised Chris swung at that. You do need base runners. He is a terrific hitter, but he kind of reached for a pitch there. You know, when you're 3-1, you kind of want to really zone in and have an idea, and you need base runners. And if they're going to throw you a meatball 3-1, they're going to throw you a meatball 3-2. And home plate is jumping around just a hair on him. And Ganick swings. He drives it toward the gap, and it gets through Matt Johnson. He reached up for it. It went through his hands. Wasn't really working too hard to get to the ball, and they stopped him at third for a second. Don't know why they stopped him. 45s really weren't planning on making a play on him until they realized he stopped and then restarted. And I'm not sure there is this low light tower. You see it there in the picture. And the way Matt ran after and put his hands up, he kind of was shaking his head. And now Marty Dozen goes hard, but Chuck Regaldo actually got there in great shape, damn near almost overran it. So we got a 6-2 game, 2 outs. It brings up Andrew Beam. I'm going to slide over a little bit because I have seen Andrew turn and burn on occasion.
Watch the middle.
And he does turn and burn, and he drops a base hit in front of Johnson. Andrew Beam with the base hit brings up Brian Nowakowski.
Left, PJ.
And Brian goes to center, and Johnson, trouble, he splits the gap. Beam is running hard. He turns, Mercado will eat it. Brian Nowakowski, perfectly placed ball into right center. And with 2 outs here, Moneyline's pushed a couple across, cut that lead to 6-3. Here's Ryan Drabo with Ricky Davis on deck. And Ryan tries to go down that line, and Adam Haas very close to the fence. Heard last minute, Nate Mercado's dad was trying to warn him about the fence. So here's reset for Ryan Drabel. And he slaps it on the ground to Nate. Long throw in time. But they do get two. We halfway through, 3-run ball game.
You could do that.
Looks like Signature put something on the board down there. So it's either 5 or 6-2 now in the bottom of the fourth. You can see Nate Mercado telling Matt Johnson, don't worry about it, stuff happens. And they're trying to, Adam Haas went over there and tapped him on the top of the head. And, you know, that's the key, guys. You know, that's why some teams are very successful, is when something goes wrong, they don't jump on their guys. They try to lift them up. And there's a little flip the other way. Well, Amalia, this is Melrose Park. You know, they do things a little differently out here. In a good way. Plus, most of their staff probably left at 4 o'clock. So Anthony Sanchez, top of the 45 lineup, going to try to see if they can't get some of those runs back. And Anthony, line drive, knocked down by Drabel, and he'll beat Sanchez to the bag. So Anthony smoked it, but Drabel was able to get a couple of hands on it. And it brings up P.J. Raines. And this is a pretty important inning. If you're Moneyline, you're trailing, you just picked up a couple of runs. You'd like to try to build off of that momentum a little bit and to get a goose egg off of the top of the 45 lineup. Could give him that juice. And P.J. Raines guides it up the middle. Base hit. Just slapped it past the angle. Big hole up the middle, and it rolled right through. So here's Nate Mercado now. If I'm not as animated as I normally am. Still recovering from the sinus infection last week and a very busy weekend schedule. So just trying to ease into my weekend a little bit. And Mercado slashes a hit up the middle. So they're working that middle. And it is interesting because Eric Mandarino, who's got this game off, is one of the best defensive pitchers in the game. And Kyle does a reasonable job, but Eric is elite when it comes to playing defense up the middle. So 2 on, 1 out for Vince Acey. And Vince got under that a little bit. Ryan Chaveria makes the catch. Gets it in. Both runners did tag. 2 outs now. So Jeff Mastari is going to go duck hunting here. Try to drive in a pair with a base hit.
Hey, we got 2 dogs. Nobody there, Nate.
And Mastari smokes it. Davis knocked it down, couldn't make a play. 1 run will score. So Mastari hit a little ground ball that was hugging the turf. Davis did get a hand on it, temporarily saving a run. Here's Chris Lentine. 45's push out to 7-3.
Those guys run real good on radio.
So the 45's just doing what they do so far in this game. Sky-high pop-up. Chris Stout, who's played a little outfield, easy catch. The 45's do get one of those two back. We head to the top of the fifth, 7-3. Meanwhile, it's either 5 or 6-3 down there as Flash is trying to crawl back into the ball game down there. So we'll take care of a little business. If you're a bar or restaurant, you're looking to put video gaming in your establishment, go with Gold Rush Gaming. They are the gold standard in video gaming. Give them a call at 630-307-0500, or you can email them at inquiries@goldrushgaming.com. Tell them that you heard about them on the live stream. You love the SSA, and that's why you called them. And please gamble responsibly. So somebody on Signature just hit a bomb into our field. They pick up another run in the fifth inning down there. So it's going to be Eric Ricky Davis, Nick Drabo, and Kyle Engels. Of course, Eric Davis, a fine left fielder, has an MVP from the SSA Gold Rush Gaming Men's Major National Championship a few years back out in Wheeling when Signature defeated the Psychopaths from California. How about that? Psychopaths surprised everybody that year, making it to the championship. Jeff Mastari, and that ball really had a lot of hang time off of the missed catch. I know Marty Dozen would have been standing on second base there. Eric Davis chuckled at that. Here comes Nick Drabo.
Nobody out. He's deep. My next stay hot. Out of line drive.
So leadoff man on, Moneyline trailing by 4 here in the fifth. And Nick skies one. Easy play for Chuck Regaldo. He puts it away. Looks like it's 7-3 Signature in the fifth. So it looked like Nick was trying to really go hard toward right center there and just didn't quite barrel up. Brings up Kyle Engels with Drew Cheveria on deck. And Kyle is typical of a guy who's maybe a little undersized. You can see he's trying to work the count and not in a hurry to necessarily put the ball in play, even though he's capable of throwing the hit out there.
One out.
And there Bo tried to quick pitch there.
You're good.
And Kyle slashes one. Mercado. I don't know what happened there. I'm not sure who threw the ball. I'm very confused about what's happening here. And I got to be honest with you, that was a line drive. It wasn't an absolute missile. And that's a good example of you could have called an intentional drop on Nate almost. So now he's got the runners confused, and Kyle Engel is safe. And I've been around a long time. It's hard to confuse Gio, but it just happened. And there was a lot of confusion. He called the guy out at second, and
You guys had this guy twice.
there was a lot of traffic on the bag. So two outs, and Drew Chavaria will get an opportunity to hit. So we're back to softball. Let's see if Moneyline can perhaps cash in. And Chavaria, Paulie climbed the ladder. And Engel, now the throw gets away, but he had completely stopped his momentum.
Way to get it, Adam! Way to back
I know on my Mudville teams, and I know Flashback used to do it, we used to tell our guys, turn and look, keep yourself moving if we knew the throw wasn't coming near the third base bag, and that's a good example because the throw from the outfield was to nobody in particular. So now Brian Davis, one swing here, can turn this into a two-run ball game. I thought we were playing basketball. Brian gave a little head fake. And he shoots it the other way, and it goes off of Mastari. One run's going to score. Seven to 4. So Moneyline just kind of hanging around. And they got the right part of their lineup up here with two outs. As you got Chris Stout, then Jason Ganick, and maybe Marty Dozen. And this is a guy that yeah, can you grab that? Hold on. Oh man, that knocked the top camera off of my phone stand here. As it just clipped the back of my monopod. I got the leg up in time. So somebody rewind the tape and tell me what that looked like. And the answer is no, I do not get hazard pay. So one hop rocket, and I got my cords and everything else here. So here's Stout, he tries to go big. Johnston goes back, and he will make the catch. Just missed it by a centimeter on the ball. Hit it way too high. The camera's going to bounce around, folks, because I got to re-plug in my battery cord, which got yanked out of my little adapter here. And at the bottom of the fifth, Moneyline did push one across, and they lead 7 to 4. Looks like it's 8-3 signature. Top of the sixth, they're hitting, leading Flashback. So Flashback in jeopardy of dropping a pair tonight. And it's going to be the pitcher, Bo Filkins, then Adam Haas and Joe Pauly. Yeah, I didn't, on that weird, crazy play in that Moneyline inning, I didn't think that he threw it to second. I think he threw it right to first. And that's why there was all that traffic there. And that's a fair ball. He paints the left field line, and Bo Filkins is going to jog in with a leadoff double. Usually in a situation like that, the order in which you tag and make a play becomes important because the runner on first does not have a priority to first over the hitter. So you would always tag him first, then tag the base. And there's a little ground ball, squirts through, and Adam Haas beats it out.
Yes.
Back out.
Okay, no, I got it. I got it. I got it.
So Ryan Drebo went down. The ball had a lot of topspin.
I'm not even sure who he set back there.
Hey, liners two here.
So is there a problem with the audio?
We sent the hitter back out.
Again, the stick got... Let me make sure this plug is in.
Somebody here. Liners through. Liners through, kid.
Well, let me know if the audio comes back or doesn't. And there's a little sinking line drive caught by Davis. We told you he's a pretty good defensive outfielder, but another run does score.
One down, guys.
Well, I might be wrong on that.
Hey, one out. Come on, kid.
No run score. There's nobody on third. Actually, I thought there was a runner on third there. Well, they'll correct it, I'm sure. Brings up Matt Johnston. One thing you don't want heading into next week is to have a losing streak. Matt Johnson just dropped a head on that, and now it gets past Marty Dozen. Haas is going to score. Johnston is digging, throw to third, not in time, and another run does score. So Marty Dozen came in and couldn't pick it up clean. Okay, I don't know what would be muffling it.
There's one down over there.
And there's a fly ball to left, and that'll be caught. Another run will score.
Way to get him in, Chucky. Big run, kid.
I actually have a new headset on the way, believe it or not, because this one has taken a beating. And there's a swing by Anthony Sanchez. We'll flare that foul down the line. Again, everything got banged up there. So hopefully the sound will come back for you guys. I do see the sound meter is moving. And Anthony Sanchez now, bases are cleared. And Anthony throws a hit out the other way. So the 45's starting to turn it up a little bit here. Brings up PJ Raines, couple of hits in the ball game. He's rolled two up the middle. They really haven't made an adjustment. They're still playing him on the right side of the infield.
Yeah, we got three. They didn't change it up there. It's 10.
2 outs. I was correct, so they did score a run there. So it's 10-4. And there's a little chopper, and he goes right back up the middle and gets his third hit. You know, sometimes when a guy's got a couple of hits one way, you want to force him to change. They did not. Nick Drabo ran a long way from the right side to the left side. Couldn't get nothing on the throw.
Hey, Sit down over there.
And here's Nate Mercado looking for a kill shot. If he hits a stretch single here, it'll be an 8-run lead.
Nobody here, kid. Nobody over the John Turkeys.
And this would be a tough day for Moneyline. They thought they had a game 1 on the other diamond against Signature, and with 2 outs, somebody dropped the ball, and that opened the floodgates, and they ended up losing a game they were winning 9-5. And Signature's opened up now. Looks like they're up 11-3. So they head to the bottom of the 6th over there.
Nobody there.
So heading into next week, Flashback's offense has been a little erratic. There's a little ground ball. He steps on it, throw to first in time. And Nate Mercado's not happy. Apparently the umpire called illegal in the middle of his swing. And he ended up chopping it into the ground. So I'm going to grab a little water here. Hopefully my mute works. No, the mute's not working. So I'll try not to gulp in your ear, folks. Well, Andrew, I'm glad you asked that question, leading off Jason Ganick. This is Chicago-style 16-inch softball. And we use a 16-inch clincher. It's not a mush ball. And you're seeing it correct. 99% of what we do out here is no glove. We do run 2 glove tournaments. Our Class A no glove tournament in Carroll Stream coming up in a couple of weeks. And
Get back, you never know.
Ganick ends up with a leadoff there. And I don't know what's going on. Guys are slipping and sliding and falling all over the place. I think he might have run into both. So we do run that tournament coming up the 15th through the 18th of August, and then Labor Day weekend, the men's major is with the club. But there are basically 4 big open tournaments here in Chicago, all no glove. And it's
Look alive, Adam. Look alive, PJ.
pretty impressive when you watch it, Andrew, when you see what some of these guys can do without a mitt on. And there's a bullet into left field by Marty Dozen. So a little bit of a rally here. First and second, nobody out. So you got Marty, son of Maddie. And then you got Marty, his uncle, over here. Of course, Marty in the hall. And here's Andrew Bean.
Go!
And there's a line drive just over Paulie. Ganick is going to try it. He'll score without a play. Dozen ends up going all the way to third on that. So 5 and dime. 10-5
Look
here.
alive, Chucky. Look alive. Came this way
And here's
last time.
Brian Nowakowski. So nobody out, runners on the corner. Top of the 6th, Moneyline trying to fight back in, and there's a little short flare, and it's going to drop. Another run's going to score. He's going to try to go to third, and he'll make it. And Nowakowski thought about trying to go to second. Still nobody out, runners on the corner, the courtesy with Chris Stout. And it brings up Ryan Drabel. Ricky Davis on deck now, 10-6. And there's a high fly ball. And that's going to score a run. You see with the lead there, they weren't going to throw the ball home and allow Stout to move up, but it is 10-7 for Eric Davis. Still only one out here. So Ricky Davis now going to try to keep this inning rolling. Ricky, one of the few guys you'll see, and he's a strong kid, but he does choke up on the bat. Ryan Russ from Flashback is another guy. He'll choke up on the bat all the time. We don't see that an excessive amount of time in the 16-inch game. And you can see there at times he even seems like he drops the bat another inch or two, depending on what he might be trying to do. And he draws a walk. Brings up Nick Drebo. So 2 runners on now. The tie is in the box here, top of the 6th.
One out. Come on, Ryan. Hey, Nick, come on, Nick.
And Nick Drebo, little ground ball, Mercado to Paulie to Haas. Not in time at first. They do get the fielder's choice. I like what Adam Haas did. He wasn't waiting for the umpire to make the call there, because it would have been a double play. They would have been out of the inning, but he knows there's a runner heading to third. So after he caught it, he very aggressively came off the bag to make sure the runner didn't keep on going. We used to tell our first baseman in those situations, and our catcher, and there's a high fly ball, and Galdo gets there.
All right, we gotta get a couple.
But in the inning, they tighten it up, 10-7. We head to the bottom of the 6th.
Way to hustle, Chuck.
So we used to tell our first baseman,
45, let's go.
1 out, runner on first. Don't wait for the double play call. Just go ahead and, if there was a runner on second, go ahead and just throw the ball home. And we would tell our catcher, make sure you're paying attention so you don't catch it in the ear.
Go, Vinny.
So Moneyline just kind of hanging around. They were down 10-4. They chopped it in half. They're only down 3 now. Vince Stacey, Jeff Mastari, and Chris Lentine. If you're Moneyline here, you need the goose egg. You don't want to make your life any tougher heading into that 7. And Stacey scalds it through the hole. Leadoff man on, good speed. So they're going to go ahead and courtesy run.
Hey, anything you want?
Vince does have a tendency to cramp up once in a while.
Nobody out, Nathan.
So they may be just trying to save his legs a little bit. And here's Mastari's towering fly ball. Marty Dozen, right on the money from deep center field. No tag.
Hey, let's go whole field.
Brings up Chris Lentine.
Go down there.
One down, okay, one down. Over to here. On the through.
Chris takes a strike there. And there's a swing and a soft fly ball the other way. Eric Davis makes the play and throws it in. 2 outs. Brings up Bo Filkins. And Bo walks the dog right down the line, fair. Nate Mercado, and now they throw the ball home. A little surprised Nate didn't score on that with 2 outs. It's Bo Filkins. Dropped it down that line. Came down like it had a parachute. Nestled in the grass nicely. And brings up Adam Haas. So the 45's here, trying to get a couple of runs back. And Adam, little bouncer over to Ganek, and he's very uncharacteristic tonight. He's thrown a couple of balls into the dirt. Good scoop there by Ryan Drabel to bail him out. Do or die, top of the 7th for Moneyline. They need 3 to extend the game, 4 to take a lead. Anything less than the 45's will have 2 wins. This will be a rough 2 losses if you're Moneyline. Meanwhile, Signature all over Flashback, bottom of the 7th, 14-3. Signature, they won the Midsummer Classic. They came out of the loser's bracket to do it. They've won an event this year, and it was a double dip. 45's were forced to an if game. They won the North-South, and of course Flashback won the Westchester TOC. So that's been the trend out here the last few years. We haven't had any teams really win 2 events, or 3. Back in the day, it always seemed like there'd be a dominant team every year that might win 2, maybe 3 of the events. And there's a bullet put right at Chuck Regaldo, and that'll be out number 1. And it's kind of interesting because some of the big teams keep loading up and stacking up with talent, but they can't get any separation from the pack. And the A teams are getting a little bit better. We saw Goodwood pull an upset over Chuck's in Iowa, a very good team, major level team. At the North-South, and that was a rough day for Chuck's. Matt Schrage tweaked a hamstring, was done for the weekend, and Kyle Simpson tore his Achilles in the same game about 5 minutes apart. My man Steve, never shy of confidence, I'll give you that.
There you go.
Although Steve, a couple of your Goodwood guys played pretty good in that Nicky Lopez Classic, baby. Brian Davis goes opposite field.
Get 3, Brian.
Gets past Sanchez. He'll jog easily into 3rd, trailing by 3. He'll be happy to get there. So here comes Chris Stout, Jason Ganek, and then Marty Dozen. I'm sure if you're the 45's, they don't want to see Dozen come up. Because if that's the case, chances are Moneyline's pushed 1 or 2 across. Stout, off the end of the bat, Sanchez will make the play. And Brian Davis, trailing by 3, won't try it. So they're down to their last out. Here's Jason Ganek. Again, they need 1 more base runner to be dangerous. Marty Dozen on deck. Marty does got big pop. He's more than capable of airmailing something over the top and hitting a home run. And 45's a couple of good jobs here tonight if this score holds. Meanwhile, the flashback signature game is over. So signature wins a pair tonight. 45's trying to win a pair. Flashback dumps a pair. And the 45's trying to win a pair. And there he tried to throw the fastball. Paulie knocks it down. He won't be able to make a play though. Does score a run to make it 10-8. And the tying run is in the box now in the form of Marty Dozen with 2 outs. And they are playing him deep.
That's it, did. The whole park except you fucking saw it hit the plate.
And this is an example here where they're playing so deep. If you're Marty Dozen, what you really want to do is really smoke something into an alley. Didn't quite get it to an alley, but it keeps the inning going. Now the tying runs at first for Andrew Beam. 2 outs. Marty Dozen, who can fly, will be off on the swing. Israel Sanchez is going to try to slow things down. And we have seen Andrew Beam turn and burn. Very strong kid, got a lot of pop. He hits that stretch single now. We're going to be all tied up. With Brian Nowakowski on deck.
2 outs on the swing, Mark, on the swing.
DJ. 6.
Takes that pitch inside. Catches a strike there.
Vito got him at the plate. Play.
So that ball nips the plate.
6.
Home plate jumping around here. 3-1. Let's see if he takes. No, he swings. He tries to go deep. Johnson on his horse. Can't make the catch, but it's a foul ball. It was definitely a foul ball. That was not really controversial. The ball was definitely foul. Wasn't even close. I think I had a good view of it on the stream. Johnston ran a long way for it, but that ball was hooking. Even Marty Dozen, over here Marty, not over here Marty, knew it was foul. So Beam resets, full count I believe. And he walks him. So the bases are loaded. You might have heard Mandy Dozen because he used the 2 fakes. And he was trying to get his son to get way off the bag because he couldn't make a throw to third. It would have been, in essence, illegal. So now the bases are loaded. The lead run is at first for Brian Nowakowski. And he just flips it down the line. Fair ball! We're all tied up. Marty Dozen is going to, or Andrew Beam is going to score. 3-run single. And the game has turned as Moneyline with 2 outs. A couple of walks. Brian Nowakowski walked the dog. 2 outs now. Good speed on board here as they courtesy run with Chris Stout. Ryan Drabel up. And with 2 outs, Moneyline is pushed 4 across. Good stuff from Melrose Park. Being brought to you live by the SSA. And there's a throw in the dirt. And Adam Haas digs it out. So it was a do or die top of the 7th, and Moneyline
Go,
did.
guys, you gotta hit.
Now it's do or die for the 45's here as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Come on, Joe, let's go.
At one point they were up 10-5 in this game. Moneyline scored the last 6. And now we got a bottom of the 7th here.
Joe Pauly, start us, kid. Let's go.
So it's going to be Joe Pauly, Matt Johnston, and Chuck Regaldo. That's 9, 10, and 11. And then they'll be at their top. So if you're Moneyline, you're at the part of the lineup you want to be. But the problem is if anybody starts getting on base, you got to see that top again. So here's Joe Pauly. 45's need a base runner. It's a high fly ball. Ricky Davis is back, makes a belly catch. Leadoff man down. Brings up Matt Johnston. Again, Matt has been getting some good pitches to hit based on his setup. And I think with a guy like this, and he goes high and deep, Marty Dozen going back and makes a catch. Gave it a ride, but no fences out here. And now the game rests on the last hope here with Chuck Regaldo. Anthony Sanchez on deck. So Moneyline was just kind of hanging around most of the game. Now they find themselves an out away from being able to get the win.
Hit the plate. Why not call legal then? All day. Hit the plate. Good pitch, kid. Oh, come on! Let's go.
And they apparently are questioning whether the balls actually hit the plate or not. And there's a strike. Chuck Regaldo working the count. And he swings and line drive right at Jason Ganick. Moneyline trailing by 3 in the top of the 7th, score 4. 45's go 1, 2, 3 in the bottom half of the 7th. And Moneyline on the brink of losing 2 tonight picks themselves up and gets a win. So we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We might have some interesting news tomorrow, we'll see. But on behalf of the SSA Gold Rush Gaming, this is Gio saying we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We'll talk to you soon.